Hi, my name is Mike Caprio, and I'd like to show you one of our Italian delicacies which we make every year. It's called pickled eggplant. You'll have to assemble a few things in order to get started. The first thing is you need eggplant and some beautiful, nice red sweet peppers. You're going to need kosher salt, olive oil, white vinegar, cider vinegar, oregano, garlic naturally, and crushed red pepper. The way to start is to take your eggplant. You're going to take and cut the tops off, like so. Let me show you, give it a little more room here. Then cut the bottom off, and then you're going to peel your eggplant. After you get done peeling your eggplant, you're going to slice it. And I'm fortunate enough to have a commercial slicer and a restaurant grade squeezer and also food grade containers to put it in. When you slice it, you're going to want to slice it 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch. So they're going to be strips, long strips. So I've already peeled all my eggplant and they're ready for slicing. I've also taken and prepared all of my red peppers and they're salted so I can start to drain some of the moisture out of them, and then afterwards we're going to take and give them a vinegar soak. But right now I'm going to start slicing. Like I said, 1/4 of an inch by 1/4 of an inch. The slicer may be a little loud, but I'll show you how I'm slicing in a second. Now I've sliced them all one way, and they're about 1/4 of an inch in width. All right, so you can see that that's the way they are. But now I'm going to slice them the second way so I can get my strips. Now years ago, I actually made this appliance that goes on my slicer so I can keep the slices up perpendicular to the blade. All right, and this is patent pending. I just put this on top, and then I can slice them like so. And what I do is I get the strips. Nice, beautiful 1/4 inch strips. This is what they look like after they're sliced. I'm slicing the last one now, and after this we'll be salting them. So we'll get right back to you. So now that everything has been sliced, what we're going to do is we're going to salt them. And what we do is we salt them in layers. You don't have to put a lot of salt on, but you have to make sure that you're going to get the salt in there, because what it's going to do is it's going to take all the moisture out of your eggplant strips. And you want to take all that moisture. Once it starts to drain out, we're also going to put a weight on top. That's going to take and give you a little more pressure as we're salting it. And we're going to press it with this afterwards to get all of the water out and get it as dry as possible. And you'll see that these strips will shrink to almost nothing. Now, eggplant is always good, pickled eggplant, or people call it marinated eggplant, all right, as a garnish. Okay, you can put it on a crostini with a nice piece of sharp provolone. I like to have it on a hamburger with a nice sharp piece of provolone. All right. It's also a garnish for any antipasti. All Italians have to have it at every holiday. All right, and also it's great just to sprinkle a few eggplant on top of a salad as a dressing. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my vinegar, because after we squeeze these out, we have to take and put boiling vinegar on it. And what I do is I use 5 quarts of white vinegar to 1 quart of cider vinegar. The cider vinegar gives it a little extra kick, and it's really, really very good. A lot of people say, oh no, I like my eggplant to be all white. I want them to be white, white, white. Well, you know what? They come out really white anyway, all right? But when they just use white vinegar, it doesn't have that extra little kick of flavor. So that's why I put in the apple cider vinegar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this boiling so that I have it ready for when my eggplants are going to be squeezed out. Okay, we're ready to start to squeeze them out, all right? But you can see all the water that has come out of the eggplant after we salted them. Okay, it's been about 3 hours, and most of the moisture is out, but we still have to squeeze it so it's totally out. And what we're going to use is this tortiere, all right, which is actually made in Italy, and it's a fruit press, all right, fruit and vegetable press. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up this bin here with as many as I can get in there, and then I'm going to take and lower the press and squeeze as much moisture out as I possibly can. And this makes a lot of squeaking noises. But this is all stainless steel, like I said, and it's sold by Consiglio's Kitchenware of North America. As you can see, there's much more water coming out because these are getting squeezed even more so as the pressure keeps continuing downward, downward, downward. And then when you see what is left here, all right, it's not even a quarter of the amount that I put in to this vegetable squeezer. All right, now I'm going to just get as much as I can out. Let's see if I can squeeze a little bit more out. Because I want to get all that water out, because I'm going to replace that water with the vinegar that's cooking on the stove behind me. And once that vinegar gets to a boil, then I'll take and I'll pour it on top of the squeezed eggplants, and they will get infused with the vinegar. And the vinegar is going to add flavor and a preservative factor. Okay, we've squeezed all of the water out of our salted eggplant, so you can see how much less it looks like right now. And we have our vinegar already boiling on the stove. I'm going to take the vinegar, I'm going to pour it in here and also in on top of the peppers. So it's going to take where the peppers were salted and the moisture came out of the peppers, the vinegar will be replacing the moisture that was in the peppers, like it's replacing the moisture that was in the eggplant. What we're doing is we're going to be making this a cold pack. This is not a hot pack like when you're making jelly that you have to boil the jars, okay? This is a cold pack, and I'll explain that later when we get to the packing part. So here goes the vinegar. I use these to take and stir these very gently so that they absorb all the vinegar. And also, these eggplants are beautiful. They have very, very few seeds in them. So if I was trying to get it where there was less seeds, I would rake this eggplant with this turkey holder. But you see how they're puffing up already? So the eggplant are absorbing all the vinegar now. And they'll have to stay and wait until they're cool.
They're nice and white.
Yeah. Hi everybody, it's the next day and our eggplant have cooled down from the reaction to the boiling vinegar. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a second pressing right now and we don't want to take all of the vinegar out. We want to press it almost so it's dry, but we want to leave some of that vinegar flavor in there because we want that vinegar flavor to meld with our olive oil. And then after that, we're going to take and spice it with oregano, garlic, and some hot red pepper flakes. The red pepper strips will also go in and everything will mix and meld. After it sits for a couple of hours, we're going to jar it up and then we're going to have some beautiful eggplant. And I have to tell you that Laurel and I have been making eggplant for, God, it's got to be over 50 years. And we used to take and always go to the Durham Fair in Connecticut. The first year we entered our eggplants in the Durham Fair, we got first place and we got best in pickling with a big rosette. And we continued that for like 10 years. But after a while, it got to be too easy to get a blue ribbon, so we stopped doing it. But I hope you all enjoyed this, and see you soon.